The Beach FM Business Lunch Show, brought to you by PlaceMakers Kapiti Horowhenua. Together we're building New Zealand.
Welcome back to the Business Lunch Show on Beach FM 106.3. Let's welcome back to the show to talk cyber from GTB IT Solutions. It's Mark Ternent. G'day, Mark.
Hey, Damian. G'day, everybody.
How have we been recently, mate? It's been a few weeks since we caught up.
Yeah, no, hey, I'm on the Kapiti coast and the sun is pouring in, so it's all good right now. Yeah, no, it's been a good few weeks. I think business is picking up for everyone around. I was at a Chamber BA5 the other night, and most people here seemed pretty happy. And obviously there's still some sad stories out there, but business is starting to pick up.
They are most certainly starting to pick up, but with that pickup, we're starting to look at everything within the business. You know, are we using it correctly? Are we utilizing everything, or are we? Is it about time that we change things up? And I know with cybersecurity, and I know anything in regards to IT solutions, things are updating all the time, aren't they, mate? So, what's some of the stuff that you've been working with lately?
Couple of things, I guess. You mentioned cybersecurity, so I guess that's straight at mind. We've been upgrading quite a number of our clients in terms of their own business security. We probably mentioned last time I was on your show about people are being attacked quite a lot, more than they ever were, and it's sort of like this upwards accelerating curve. And it's true, that's what's happening. And so we've been putting people onto new versions of antivirus software, because we call it antivirus, but antivirus is sort of like yesterday's concept, because back in the good old days a couple of years ago, distant past, it was about viruses. Was these days it's about ransomware and phishing attacks and all sorts of things that come at you from all sorts of different angles. So the new software that's still called sort of antivirus endpoint protection does so much more than antivirus ever did to prevent those attacks that are coming in today.
Wow.
We're also putting a lot of, still moving people slowly but surely into more cloud-based solutions. Now, there'll be some people listening who go, I don't trust the cloud, and I wouldn't argue with them because it's a discussion. And at the end of the day, you pick where you want your business to reside based on a whole bunch of factors, and how secure you feel is definitely a part of it. However, in a nutshell, more and more people are moving more of their services that they get into cloud-based delivery. And keep in mind that, our clients aren't, massive customers, doing the corporate thing down in Wellington and that sort of thing. We've got clients all around the Wellington region and further north and even further outfield of that, but mostly they're SME type businesses. You one woman, one man band up to maybe 40, 50, 60 seats, professional practices and what have you. So they're the sorts of businesses that we've got here in Kapiti. And they're putting documents up there, we're putting emails up there, the things that people actually use, workflow systems and what have you. Now, those are two big things, Damian. Yeah. That security, especially replacing antivirus, which is a bit of a dated concept, and tightening up security, and also just slowly moving more things into the cloud.
Absolutely. Well, I know there's things in place these days, as you alluded to, that can protect us, but we've also got to be mindful ourselves, don't we? We've got to be making sure that we've got correct passwords. Your name 123 is not going to cut it. You need to make sure that you're doing those little things first as well to protect yourself.
Yeah, no, indeed. And I wrote a blog article about that earlier this month, and it went out in our email newsletter, I think you've seen earlier this week, and it linked back into that strengthen your password policy, because, we've got all the sexy stuff going on, I think sex anyway, about IT, but at the bottom of it, when it comes to security, it's the basic things. It's still people clicking on stuff and people having their passwords found out is the bulk of the cause of unauthorized accesses, criminals getting into businesses. And passwords is a classic. This is an example. We had a medical practice a few months ago, and the practice manager emailed me and said, I'm really worried about this. We've received an email, and it's got the password that one of our doctors, and it says that they've got access to our system because, look, here's the password, and if we don't do this, they're going to do all this, that, and the other thing. And it was actually a password that had been used by that doctor who was one of the owners several years previously. And what happens is sometimes you would use a password on a site, and we use them all the time because you've got to these days, and that those sites will be hacked, and they will pinch all the passwords, and that goes onto the dark web, and it gets combined with other data, and they can figure out who you are. So a password that you used to use, or maybe that you still use, becomes in the hands of the criminals, and they then sell that data to the sorts of people that send emails to you saying, hey, if you don't pay me some money, look what we've got, we're going to exploit it. So the thing about changing your password every 3 months, which was very annoying to say the least, that's been discredited. You don't need to do that. But you do need to make sure that your passwords are up to date and that they're strong, and that it's, not dog's name 23 like a lot of people would have. You need to have decent passwords that are strong and that you have changed in the last couple of years, because your old passwords can get out there and they can be turned against you.
Absolutely. Hey, I need to ask, these Facebook quizzes or all that type of thing, what year were you born, blah, 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 are they getting our passwords? Because once you click on that stuff, you do have to log in as your Facebook user.
Yeah, I to be honest, if you hadn't asked me about Facebook, I wouldn't have raised it. It's not my favourite topic. But yeah, I don't know whether you remember reading about Cambridge Analytica, and that was a big company in the UK, and they were the ones that were linked to the hacking of the last US elections and other things like that all around the world. And what they did was, and this is not conspiracy theory, I don't do that, but what they were doing is they were doing Facebook campaigns where they would do exactly those sorts of tests, and they over time would build an amazingly detailed picture of millions, tens of millions of people that they would then use to target things to those people that they knew that they would be susceptible to because of their personality profiling, because of what they'd built up from the answers to those sorts of tests. And then they were targeting things to people to influence you, because they knew that with your particular types of things that you'd done, that you would be influenced by this type of thing or that type of thing. And they were influencing elections, and they were influencing public life. So yeah, if you're typing stuff into Facebook, those free things that seem fun, a lot of those are actually driven by people who are collecting demographic and psychological data on you and amalgamating it to understand who you are and what pushes your buttons, so that they can then target more stuff to you and get to influence your decisions and what you buy and what you vote on. Freaky, eh? And that's not conspiracy theory, that is true. So yeah, and you're right. You log into Facebook. I don't use my Facebook login to log into anything. I keep passwords for everything. And when I've forgotten a password, sometimes I deeply regret that decision. But at the end of the day, it means Facebook doesn't know a lot about me. And I'm happy with that. That's a personal thing. Because those Facebook accesses, you don't know what you're giving away. And there's a thing that if you're not paying for it, then you're the product.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I always learn heaps from you, Mark, but you've got a webinar coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that, or the thought behind that?
Yep, we're doing some new stuff here at GTB, and the email newsletter and the blog articles. Happy for anyone to sign up to those. Are around communicating stuff that I always had difficulty communicating with my clients on a one-on-one basis, and now I can, once a month put something out that's hopefully not too boring, and they can pick and choose what they want to read about. And as a part of that, I'm going to start running some webinars. And so our first newsletter said to people, and the first one will be early September, and our first newsletter said to people, hey, what would you like to hear about? And so we've got a survey going at the moment online, and in a week or two's time I'll have a look at the results of that, and I'll pick the topic that we're going to do a webinar on. And if it's successful, if people come back and tell us what they want, then we'll do more. But the idea being to hear what people actually are concerned about, what interests them, and try and craft a short webinar around that. So I haven't got a topic, Damian, but it will be early September. And if anyone's interested, obviously I'd be delighted. You don't just have to be a GTB client, and you can sign up through our website.
Fantastic, mate. Lastly, as always, where can we find you? How can we get in touch?
You can roll on in to us on Taroto Drive in sunny Papumu in Kapiti, or online at GTB, which is Get the Best, just gtb.co.nz. And you can contact me by clicking on the Contact Us button.
Fantastic. Mark Ternent from GTB IT Solutions in Kapiti. Thanks, mate. Thanks for your time. Go all the best.
Thanks, Beach.